Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com, and today we're going to do another ClearCorrect video. So anytime there's something new or different with various aligner companies, I like to do an updated video. These graphics, obviously this infographic is mine, but these graphics I clipped from a newsletter that I got today in an email directly from ClearCorrect. I was actually so impressed with their video and what they're doing that I decided to make a very positive video for once about their product. So I say for once because if you look at the history of my content that I've been making for, goodness, going on 6 years now, and posting on YouTube and blogs. It started out with a lot of blogs and then it went more to YouTube videos. I'm super, I guess you call it bearish about ClearCorrect initially in the earlier videos, and I'm starting to become more bullish about, about ClearCorrect. In other words, I'm liking it more. Why? Well, I mean, it was never a bad product. It was just a clunky product, and their dashboard was just terrible, just so bad that once, Invisaligns kept getting better and better and better. Other people came out with ones, and it was just like, for this price, I just can't deal with your dashboard. I can't deal with that. I can't deal with how slow your turnaround time is. It's just not worth it to me. And a lot of other doctors, not just to me. But they really, initially when Straumann bought ClearCorrect, I was like, oh, okay, this is good. You know, it's a high quality product or a high quality company. They're going to make it better. But it took them a really long time to make any changes. It seems like they were just supervising for a while. I know from talking to a lot of the initial team, I was friends with a lot of the initial team at ClearCorrect. I got to know them really well about 6, 7, 8 years ago, doing some collaborative projects together way back when. And they were so awesome, so nice. I've taken a tour of their facilities. And then Straumann went and either they ran off all the good team members or a lot of them left just because it was really toxic from what I've heard, the culture at the new ClearCorrect. I don't know whether they've finally gotten things more balanced or if it's still a culture issue, but regardless, the product is better. So this is ClearPilot 1.0. They didn't start doing ClearPilot until Straumann took over. And this is ClearPilot 3.0. Basically, the dashboard is really user-friendly, and it's pretty similar to using Invisalign's dashboard right now. Their ClinCheck 6.0, I think, is the most recent Invisalign that's out there. It's very similar. I mean, it's not the same thing. Obviously, you have to learn where things are, but there's a lot of features, like we've got better gums, we can see the IPR, we can see the engagers, which are the attachments. There's different types of shapes now. You've got better Pontics. I like the TMT, or the movement chart. We call that Invisalign TMT. Treatment overview is just like a summary. You can see this from a variety of different views. The grid is helpful. They had that with Invisalign. That way you can, kind of measure. Superimposition is really helpful. You can see where it moves. The occlusion is probably my favorite feature that they have. It's really helpful. I mean, they needed this like last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. The comments is helpful. Photos, x-rays, documents. Doctor edits is nice, so you can see your history of your edits. But mostly the main two things that I really like that they're doing now is that there's a variety of different shape of the engagers. The occlusion, the grid, and the TMT, or movement chart, is the most helpful because I like to see if there's an extrusion. I mean, it looks like there's an extrusion, but really, is there an extrusion? How much is the extrusion? And if you want to know more about using a TMT, you can go into, or anything else about ClearCorrect, but you can see I've made so many content videos about all these features for Invisalign and how to use them, and it's basically the same thing. So you just have to call it a different thing, like this is called TMT, right? Occlusion, you can see that. You can look it up. It's called occluse on Invisalign's thing. So you can go into my YouTube channel, and to access that, there's over 3,000 free educational videos in there about all different types of orthodontics, from braces to aligners to phase 1 to airway to OMT. If you want to look up a specific keyword, say like TMT or occluse, all you're going to do is go to my YouTube channel. To find that, go to your YouTube channel, go up in the search bar, put in StraightSmile Solutions. From there, you'll get to my YouTube channel, which has a green banner. From there, you'll see a tiny little magnifying glass towards the right, towards the top, but not in the top right-hand corner. Put in that keyword, and it should come up. And you can watch all the content, or on the homepage of my YouTube channel, you're gonna have a variety of different playlists. There's one for alternative aligner companies. There's one for Invisalign. At this point, ClearCorrect is getting so much better that you can pretty much watch the entire Invisalign playlist, which has over 150 different pieces of content. This literally will take you like a month to watch everything that I've created. It'll take a long time. And some people legitimately do it, which I'm really impressed. But things change, right? So yeah, decent product. Again, just a quick refresher. Why do I like ClearCorrect now more than I ever did? Well, first of all, they take any scanner, which is huge for me. That's my number one beef with Invisalign and every other doctor who doesn't have an iTero. It's like, why? Why not? I know you've got a lawsuit with them, with these different scanning companies because you own your own scanning company, but it's not fair to the doctors that you use. It's BS. You should be agnostic like ClearCorrect. If you own your own scanner, you know, like Invisalign does, Align Technology, hey, then charge an extra $10 to use a different scanner. I mean, I don't think most doctors would be opposed to that. It's better than what they're doing right now. Because honestly, what's going to happen, Align Technology, if you're listening to this video, is that ClearCorrect's getting so much better. I mean, there's still some more things they need to do before they win my love back again. Well, they never really had my love. But I would actually consider using it over Invisalign. We're not there yet. And I'll go over that in a few minutes. But I mean, if ClearCorrect keeps making these improvements, Invisalign's about to take a major hit. And I'm going to be the first one on the bandwagon once they finish the stuff that I asked for. Now, what's the stuff that I've asked for that they've done? Certainly clearing up the turnaround times. It's much, much better. I don't use it very often. I don't have many doctors that are using it. I probably have more doctors using white label for sure. So it goes for me in terms of what the doctors I work with use. Number one, of course, is Invisalign, way high up. Then white label, which is in-house, or you can outsource everything. If you want to know about that, I'm glad to explain it to you. Crazy cheap, a fraction of the price of ClearCorrect, and the exact same quality. And you can use any scanner. It's just not packaged all pretty, and you don't get the cool dashboard. So, and now that ClearCorrect's dashboard is getting better, okay. Then beyond that would be StraightSmile, then would be probably Reveal, then would be ClearCorrect. So I would put ClearCorrect as number 5 in terms of the ranking, what my doctors do. And at one point they were number 2, but now that other ones have come up and the white label products are so cheap and so much better. Why? I mean, the only reason I'd use this over white label, because it's so much more expensive, would be for the dashboard, which is, like I said, getting a lot better. It is really easy to keep things organized. So what things would I like? What would ClearTech, and the team at Straumann is not friendly to me, so I have no loyalty to them. I had loyalty to the initial team, but whatever. So these are the things I've asked for, and these are the things that they've done. So the number one thing I asked for was better turnaround times. They've definitely improved that. Dashboard, they've improved. It's a lot better. They have put in the occlude feature. That was a total necessity. I refused to use their product until they had the occlude feature in there. That's huge. Better Pontics, they've done that. The movement chart, they've done that. Okay, so, and the comments and stuff like that. What else do they need to do? Oh, also they are now allowing anterior and posterior bite turbos. You have to ask them a funky way, but that's huge. I would like it if they made it easier to ask for it. I feel like right now when you ask for it, you have to ask 100 times and half the technicians don't know what it is, and it ends up wasting several weeks. You have to call customer service. You have to phrase it a certain way. They should know what this is, and it should be easy to use like it is with Invisalign. So that's one beef I still have with them. Maybe it'll get better. What else? Let's see. Only other thing that they really just have to do, I would say, besides clearing up that bite turbo thing, because bite turbos are like standard on 90% of my cases. And theirs are still a little too small because they're basically engagers, but we're using them on the palate and we're just not filling them. Only other thing that I would probably do is I would want them to be able to actually do the elastic punch outs. And I know with their trim line, it is not going to be possible to do slots, and that's fine because I hate slots anyways. I actually like button cutouts. There's no reason you cannot do button cutouts with the ClearCorrect aligners. And yes, I've punched them in, but the movement wasn't built into the treatment plan. So yeah, you can manually punch them in, but it's not going to work properly because the movements aren't built into the movement simulator, right? So that would be nice if they would actually punch those in for you and build the movements of the elastics into the treatment simulator. That would be awesome. I would also really like for them to have a better phase 1 product. I love ClearCorrect for phase 1. Yes, I know, and I did it on my own daughter, so I have no problem saying that. I don't know if I was their first case because I was kind of beta testing with them. They never published it. I gave them the records at the end, but it turned out really well. And the reason why I actually think that ClearCorrect is superior to Invisalign for phase 1 product, and by phase 1, just a friendly reminder, we're just talking about closing up the spaces from 7 to 10, from 22 to 26, and or opening the spaces if, correcting crowding, if you've already done an expander first. You'd have to do the expander first, most likely, to make the space. Yes, you could tip the teeth, but that wouldn't be ideal to make space. So I use expanders all the time and then go on to do phase 1 aligners afterwards. ClearCorrect is so much superior to Invisalign because it has a higher trim line, so you can do less attachments, which works way better on primary teeth. But they don't have their phase 1 product built into their system, I don't know whether it's because Invisalign might have some type of proprietary stuff on phase 1 aligners. I don't know. Because they clearly don't. I do them all the time. I don't know why having things on kids would be considered proprietary. It's just moving teeth. But perhaps it's the branding, or perhaps they just don't want to deal with Invisalign coming after them. So yeah, plenty of people have done phase 1 aligners with ClearCorrect. I do them with white label all the time. But they don't directly offer it, nor do they have a price point that goes with it. So what you can do is you can do the unlimited plan, which is 5 years. Which is actually a really good deal. You can start out doing the phase 1. They won't say no. And then you can take a pause for a year or two while the rest of the teeth come in. Not have any aligners, just put a bonded retainer or create your own thorough retainer or order a thorough retainer from a local orthodontic lab. It would be nice if they made thorough retainers too, but that's a whole nother thing. And then you could go on to finish the case. Obviously, timing would be ideal because you only get that 5-year window, but it would be incredibly affordable. And the great thing about ClearCorrect relative to Invisalign is that because of their trim line and because of the strength of their material, yes, it's a little less comfortable, but you can use way fewer attachments, way fewer attachments. So it's a lot more aesthetic. And it's way better for primary teeth. It would be my choice, hands down, over the Invisalign primary teeth. It's such a hassle to bond attachments to primary teeth, nor would I ever want to deal with bonding attachments on a 7, 8, or 9-year-old. What a hassle, right? I did my daughter's case with the phase 1 aligners without any attachments, and it tracked just fine. You know how easy that is? You know how much chair time that saves you, being able to just deliver that phase 1 aligners without attachments? Hours. Taking them on, taking them off in a kiddo is tricky, right? So anyways, yes, this was a favorable review of ClearCorrect Pilot 3.0. I think they're well on their way, and you know what? I might just buy some stock in Straumann because I think this was something, and if I were Align Technology, I'd be a little afraid, and I hope that they're looking over their shoulder because they get really cocky, Align Tech does, and yeah, their stock's pretty low right now. So definitely this is on its way, and it's about to take over real fast unless Align Tech either lowers their prices or changes the way they pay it, or is willing to take different scanners. Those are the 3 things they have to do. Otherwise, they're sunk, as far as I'm concerned. All right, thanks.